from Taylor Swift's team or someone close to Taylor Swift contacted Brian from Baldoni, was the one who pulled Taylor Swift into this drama.
For Lively, as singer outs the glaring red flags she missed.
Blake Lively is in complete meltdown after Taylor Swift dropped a shocking bombshell in court, ruining Lively's reputation.
And this is what spooked or kind of got Taylor just completely disheveled and trying to figure out what's going on.
I believe that if Taylor has one wish right now, it is that she had never met Blake.
Taylor Swift's team agreed with Brian Friedman that he would subpoena Taylor Swift.
The whole Taylor Swift family is tightening the rope around Blake's neck in the court, ready to snap her image anytime.
To justify themselves in federal court, they folded. At some point, they will run out of distraction.
So, what is this whole problem? Well, it starts with a shocking blackmailing act and ends with a mind-blowing PR manipulation that no one saw coming. It seemed like Taylor had permanently left her best friend and is now an ally with Justin Baldoni to send Blake to jail.
To be exact, he received a phone call from someone saying to him that Taylor Swift had been pressured by Blake Lively to delete evidence, to delete text messages between
Blake Lively, Hollywood's favorite blonde with a Pinterest board for a soul and the strategic genius of a soap opera villain. Allegedly, she's now taken a page out of the mob boss playbook by threatening to release a decade's worth of Taylor Swift's private texts unless Taylor publicly supports her, because nothing says friendship goals like blackmail over brunch.
And she was pressured to give a public statement or to support Blake Lively in.
But wait, it gets juicier, because Blake didn't stop at emotional extortion. Oh no, she lawyered up. According to reports, Blake's legal team allegedly demanded that Taylor delete existing messages.
Public. And if she didn't, Blake would leak 10 years of their private text messages together.
You know, like when your toddler smashes your phone because you caught them ordering $900 worth of Paw Patrol merch. Only this time, it's a grown woman in Chanel, fighting off a PR wildfire with legal gasoline. It's giving damage control, but it makes it delusional.
Pressured by Blake Lively to delete evidence, to delete text messages between.
And just when you think Blake's pulling off her best evil genius impression, there's more cloak, more dagger, more silk-gloved sabotage. Because what does this say about her desperation? She isn't just trying to cover her tracks. No, she's retroactively rewriting the script like a high schooler editing their diary after getting caught.
Or at that time, I'm thinking she didn't just say delete text messages. There had to be more context.
It's as if she thought Hollywood wouldn't notice her playing both sides of the narrative, juggling image rehab with emotional warfare. Yes, Blake, we totally believe this is all just a harmless misunderstanding, just like we believe Preserve was a sustainable business and not Etsy with a publicist.
Blake Lively lies about literally everything. The woman is breathing, she's lying, okay?
So now we enter the plot twist no one saw coming. Unless, of course, you've been paying attention to the chaos that seems to follow Blake Lively like a trail of ethically sourced glitter. According to Candace Owens, the tipster-in-chief of all things explosive, it was none other than Scott Swift, Taylor's own father, who allegedly leaked the blackmail story to Justin Baldoni's team.
Give a public statement or to support Blake Lively in public. And if she didn't, Blake would leak 10 years of their private text messages together. As I said earlier today, this didn't give.
Yes, Daddy Dearest may have been the ghost in Blake's PR machine. And honestly, I believe he might have done what any dad would do when his daughter's best friend turns into a tabloid villain. But if you think that's the full betrayal, oh no, the layers of this one are just getting started.
Either she would support Blake Lively in public, which could be like PR suicide for her.
Now, let's not forget, Scott isn't just Taylor's dad. He's been a behind-the-scenes power player in her career for years, with a financial stake in her empire. I think that makes his alleged move less of a leak and more of a masterstroke, shielding Taylor from reputational fallout while keeping her hands squeaky clean. And the best part? Blake never saw it coming. Because, of course, She probably assumed the Swifts were just too wholesome to play chess. Poor thing.
Which could also affect Taylor Swift's career, like dramatically. I mean, there could be stuff in there, of course, that she doesn't want to get out there.
Still with me? Good, because the next revelation might just make Blake wish she stuck to monogrammed aprons and rustic candle launches. If this is true, then Scott's move was both deeply personal and brilliantly strategic. He didn't just protect Taylor. He helped frame the entire narrative. Blake as the aggressor, Taylor as the victim, and himself as the quiet puppeteer pulling strings from the shadows. It's the kind of storyline Blake might have greenlit if it were about anyone but her.
Who wants their private text messages to be public? So what I think happened here, obviously, is that...
And trust me, if this family chess game keeps going, Blake might be the only one left without a queen. The unraveling of the once friendly relationship between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively didn't happen overnight. It was a slow burn marked by several key red flags, insiders say. One pivotal moment that insiders highlight is the infamous October double-date dinner, where Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce casually joined Blake and Ryan Reynolds for what looked like a cozy night of laughs and good vibes. The kind of evening that social media could only dream of. If you were a fan, you probably thought, wow, these two are friendship goals.
I think it was October, because the last time you see Taylor Swift and Blake Lively was in October, okay? What they're talking about.
But here's where things start to get deliciously complicated. Because behind the perfectly filtered Instagram posts and oh-so-candid laughter, insiders say tension was bubbling like a shaken champagne bottle. That cozy dinner wasn't all fun and games.
That's the last picture of all of them together. And since that time, we have not seen them pictured.
Reports suggest Blake dropped a bombshell request on Taylor. Delete certain text messages. Unless Blake was auditioning for a spy thriller, this is a baffling question that screams, hey, maybe don't let the public see what I'm really up to.
Or kind of got Taylor just completely disheveled and trying to figure out what's going on.
And you thought that was the peak of awkward, oh no, we're just warming up. Around the same time, Blake allegedly wasn't just playing friendship spy, but also cozying up to none other than the New York Times. What for, you ask? To allegedly cook up a legal strategy targeting her It Ends With Us co-star, Justin Baldoni.
And so she's working with the New York Times all the way back then. She then tells Taylor to delete that.
But wait, if you think the drama stops at awkward texts and legal teasers, you're about to be schooled. For Taylor, this was probably the moment when the ride or die switched to run or hide. Blake's strange requests combined with all these behind-the-scenes legal maneuvers must have felt like betrayal served with a side of subpoenas.
Out the glaring red flags she missed during their 10-year friendship.
Because once those legal documents started making the rounds, official orders to spill secrets or cough up evidence, that's when the friendship's foundation shattered like a glass chandelier dropped from a penthouse window. And you thought the glitz and glam were the real show. Nope, the real drama was in the fine print.
Writing this song, it kind of occurred to me that in all of the superhero stories, the hero's greatest nemesis is the villain that used to be his best friend. When you think about that,
Taylor Swift explained in an interview that "My Tears Ricochet," while sounding like a breakup ballad, is actually about the collapse of a deep friendship. She described the emotional devastation that happens when two close friends, who know each other intimately, turn on one another. The lyrics reflect betrayal and the weaponization of shared secrets after the bond dissolves, highlighting how friendship breakups can be as painful as romantic ones.
there's this beautiful moment in the beginning of a friendship where these people have no idea that one day they'll hate each other and try to really take each other out. I mean, that's really sad and terrible.
The song was reportedly selected by Sony and specifically endorsed by Blake Lively for use in It Ends With Us, a film which Blake had allegedly taken control of post-production. The use of a song about friends destroying one another adds a layer of irony, given the ongoing legal and interpersonal battle that would unfold between Lively and Swift after what Scott did.
Either she would support Blake Lively in public, which could be like PR suicide for her, as you know, every single day now we start realizing what a horrible person Blake Lively is.
So, what is happening behind the curtain? Taylor Swift has long cultivated an image of discretion and careful control when it comes to public controversies. Unlike many celebrities who openly lash out or get involved in heated exchanges on social media, Taylor prefers to maintain a quiet, almost mysterious stance, at least initially. But this silence should not be mistaken for absence or weakness.
And if she didn't support her,
in fact, it often signals that her PR team is gearing up for a very calculated, strategic response designed to shape the narrative on her terms. In the recent fallout with Blake Lively, this pattern played out perfectly. As rumors and tensions escalated, Taylor herself stayed out of the direct line of fire, refusing to engage in public spats. Instead, her team, reportedly led by her veteran publicist T-Pain, known for her savvy crisis management, took over the narrative management.
People do not speak out about Taylor Swift unless it is T-Pain, unless it is her PR.
And I must say, their narrative management caused tears of frustration in Blake's eyes. Rather than issuing a blunt statement, Taylor's team employed subtlety and suggestion. Through carefully crafted leaks and indirect comments to the press, such as the remark given to the Daily Mail that Taylor wishes she never met Blake, they created a wave of insinuation without explicitly naming Blake or detailing the conflict.
Right now, if Taylor had one wish, it would be that she never met Blake, an insider told the Daily Mail. Although there have been good times during their relationship, the issues now concerning the Baldoni case have outweighed them.
This technique is powerful because it allows the message to spread organically. Fans and media alike start piecing together the story themselves, often making it feel more authentic and less like a PR stunt.
When Taylor looks back at their friendship, she realizes it wasn't worth all the stress Blake put her through. She can now see all the red flags.
This approach also aligns perfectly with Taylor's brand. She positions herself as the wounded but wise heroine, someone who has endured betrayals and heartbreak but emerged stronger and more self-aware. By letting others interpret and discuss the fallout, Taylor avoids getting her hands dirty in the public mudslinging, preserving her polished, almost ethereal public persona.
and if she didn't support her, Blake Lively would release all these text messages, which could also affect Taylor Swift's career.
Moreover, this indirect communication keeps the controversy alive and interesting, fueling speculation and media coverage, all while Taylor maintains a dignified silence. It's a win-win. She distances herself from the drama and the so-called once bestie, Blake Lively, without resorting to aggressive confrontation or scandalous revelations.
She's relieved the friendship is over, meaning Blake was a burden.
In essence, Taylor's silence isn't an absence of voice, but a demonstration of control, allowing her PR team to shape the story, frame the emotional narrative, and keep her image intact while letting the public digest the breadcrumbs they've been given.
Blake was causing her a lot of stress, and that there were multiple red flags.
But how is it impacting Blake Lively? Well, Blake's gone from support system to massive liability, faster than you can say preserve brand collapse. Apparently, Taylor's inner circle is buzzing with whispers about all the red flags they supposedly missed during a decade of friendship. Red flags? Blake was practically a walking neon sign.
Right now, if Taylor had one wish, it would be that she never...
Now, what leads to this downfall? Well, there is a red flag timeline that would explain everything to you in detail. After that October dinner and request, Taylor Swift became a bit weary of Blake Lively. She started avoiding her as much as she could while still maintaining the last shred of friendship between them. In this friendship, she stupidly helped Blake in confronting Justin Baldoni, landing herself on his radar and lawsuit. He filed the lawsuit not just against Blake and Ryan, but also against Taylor Swift.
Now Brian Friedman has filed on behalf of Justin a lawsuit directly against Blake.
This was the turning point in Taylor Swift and Blake's friendship. In the middle of the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni legal battle, Taylor Swift's name popped up as a supposed key witness. Yes, Taylor, the queen of narrative control herself, suddenly found a subpoena slapped on her doorstep.
He would subpoena Taylor Swift.
Baldoni's legal team demanded access to her private communications, presumably hoping to unravel some secret thread linking her to the Blake-Justin feud. I think many of us collectively raised an eyebrow. Taylor? Really? Talk about dragging someone into a mess they barely wanted to glance at. But then, just as suddenly as it appeared, that subpoena vanished. Poof. The media wasted no time celebrating a win for Blake Lively, painting it as if Taylor was miraculously saved from the legal battlefield, and Blake's team had somehow scored a victory. I laugh at how neat and tidy the headlines made it look, because in the celebrity legal world, nothing is ever that simple or straightforward.
But of course, it's PR, because she's just trying to win in the press, not.
And then came the classic pullback move, dropping the subpoena at the perfect moment. This wasn't about conceding defeat. It was about control. Controlling the narrative, managing reputations, and keeping the spotlight firmly on Baldoni without risking further damage to Taylor's spotless brand. I think Blake's team knew that keeping Taylor entangled would only prolong negative headlines, so they let her quietly exit stage left while still scoring a moral victory in public. So, what looks like a simple legal win is actually a masterclass in PR manipulation. Spoiler, it was actually Baldoni's lawyer's PR manipulation.
Got it as kind of a win for Blake Lively's team? I don't think so. This, to me, just proves that this was the plan all along.
But this manipulation caused a rift in the friendship between Blake and Taylor Swift. She was quite irked that Blake used her in her lawsuit, so she distanced herself from her. There were no more friendship goals between the besties. This made Blake a laughingstock in front of the world. So, she did a really stupid and desperate thing to control the narrative.
Say, oh, well, you know, their PR will put it out there. Oh, they support me, or Taylor supports me, or we're back, our friendship's back.
Blake allegedly pressured Taylor to delete incriminating text messages and make a public show of support for her amid the It Ends With Us legal controversy. It was huge, but Taylor and her father didn't give a damn about it. In fact, they went to support Justin Baldoni.
Taylor Swift is declaring, I am nobody's dragon, girl. I am not your dragon. I've stayed quiet.
Swift met Brian Friedman and ensured every sort of support from Taylor's legal team, making him strong in the court and Blake Lively alone in front of the world. Here's where it gets interesting. Legal insiders proposed a far more compelling theory. This subpoena may have never been meant to bring Taylor Swift into court. In fact, its purpose may have been far more clever, creating a legal paper trail that would allow allegations of Blake's coercion to become part of the official record without ever dragging Taylor to the witness stand.
For it to get dismissed, or for the subpoena to be tossed, whatever the legal term for that is, and then he would send a letter to the judge explaining.
Stay with me, because this next part is where the chess game gets juicy. Here's how it would work. Swift's team receives the subpoena and doesn't panic. Instead, they respond through her heavyweight lawyer, Brian Friedman. He doesn't just say, "No thanks," and call it a day. Oh no, he uses the moment to file a public legal response.
Subpoena to be tossed, whatever the legal term for that is. And then he would send a letter to the judge explaining what had happened.
In that response, he lays out the alleged behavior of Blake Lively, the threats, the blackmail, the whole 10-year mess of private messages that Blake reportedly didn't want anyone seeing. Boom! This information is now part of the legal record. No courtroom theatrics, no teary-eyed testimony from Taylor, just a clean clinical document filed like a flaming sword into the case record.
Very smart way of making this information public. And then, I think,
The subpoena was dropped, but not before it had served its true purpose. By the time the withdrawal was filed, the public already knew everything it needed to know. Blake Lively, the one-time bestie, was now the alleged villain in a slow-burning sabotage story. All the critical information, the claims of psychological pressure, the weird dinner text deletion request, and the alleged blackmail campaign had already been aired out thanks to Friedman's handy little filing.
They didn't really need the subpoena anymore, and I think that's when they agreed that Brian Friedman and Justin Baldoni's team would drop the subpoena against Taylor Swift.
In the end, Blake's team may have won the headline, but Baldoni's team won the narrative. I think that's what makes this strategy so slyly effective, because from a legal PR perspective, this was genius. Taylor's name never had to appear on a witness list. Her brand remained untouched. She didn't even have to unfollow Blake on Instagram to send a message. Her legal team did that for her. Meanwhile, the public walked away, associating Blake's name with coercion and manipulation, whether proven or not. Mission accomplished.
With a source close to Swift saying this, I wish I'd never met Blake. New humiliation.
Blake Lively used to be the kind of Hollywood name you'd drop at brunch to sound effortlessly in the know. Charming, scandal-free, and always paired with a picture-perfect family ensemble.
The friends of 10 years were together again, enjoying a double date with Reynolds and Swift's beau Travis Kelce in tow at popular New York hotspot, The Corner Store.
But now, her inner circle is starting to look like an abandoned group chat. John Krasinski, Taylor Swift, and Emily Blunt, who used to treat double dates with the Lively Reynolds duo like an Olympic sport, have mysteriously vanished from the narrative.
Is this double date that happened back then? That's the last picture of all of them together. And since that time, we have not seen them pictured.
But fear not, because Blake clearly read the Damage Control for Dummies handbook. Out of nowhere, she's suddenly BFFs with Rob McElhenney and Caitlin Olsen. Totally organic and super convincing. Just two comedians with zero historical ties to her suddenly becoming red carpet sidekicks. It's giving, "See, I still have friends" energy, and the internet isn't buying it. Moreover, we could see her with Salma Hayek, Ryan Reynolds, and her sister, Robin Lively, at the very aesthetic and very visible RH Rooftop Restaurant in NYC on May 13th.
Been out and about, she's gone to some events, she's been out with her new bestie, Salma Hayek. Everything Blake Lively is doing right now is trying to convince us that she's happy.
Because nothing screams "I'm thriving" like desperately gluing yourself to people who weren't even on your wedding guest list. And just when you think the social unraveling couldn't get more awkward, in comes a little podcast moment to spice things up. Kristen Cavallari hosted makeup artist Justin, who dropped a not-so-blind item about a certain actress being notoriously unpleasant to work with.
At this time, he was obviously freaking out. And I don't know, as I said, I don't know if Justin Baldoni, he wasn't even CC'd in this.
He didn't name names, but let's just say the contour shade matched Blake's perfectly. According to Justin, whispers about Blake's bad on-set behavior aren't new. They're more like the industry's worst-kept secret.
A career, like dramatically. I mean, there could be stuff in there, of course, that she doesn't want to get out there.
In Hollywood, people usually keep this stuff buried under a pile of NDAs and sponsored rosé deals. So when folks start talking out loud, it's because they're no longer afraid or required to protect you. It means the support Blake used to command isn't just fading, it's actively reversing course. When even the glam squad turns on you, it's not a bad day. It's a full-blown brand collapse. And here's where the psychological unraveling comes into play. According to commentary circulating online, this isn't just a reputation crisis. It's textbook narcissistic fallout. Blake isn't operating in a vacuum. She's a product of an industry that treats its stars like mini-monarchs, surrounded by yes people, airbrushed beyond recognition, and told daily that their brunch choices are inspirational. Celebrities like her stop hearing no long before they start acting up. So, when that adoration pipeline suddenly shuts off, you get panicked. Legal tantrums, carefully staged photo ops with B-listers, the lawsuits, the PR statements, the tone-deaf interviews. They're not just strategy. They're coping mechanisms from someone whose ego was never designed for rejection.
Taylor Swift's team agreed with Brian Friedman that
when your self-worth is built entirely on press hits and people-pleasing, losing control isn't just inconvenient, it's apocalyptic. Let's be honest. If the allegations are true, pressuring Taylor Swift, pushing fake friendships, leveraging lawsuits, it's not just messy, it's desperate. And it's not because Blake Lively is some Hollywood villain twirling a Dior mustache. It's because she, like so many before her, got drunk on her own image. The media built her up, the industry enabled her, and now that the curtain is being pulled back, she's scrambling to hold on to a version of herself that maybe never existed in the first place. In the end, it's not just the fall that hurts. It's realizing you were the one holding up the illusion all along. What are your thoughts about it? Do share with us in the comments section, and subscribe to our channel for more juicy details.